Welcome back, guys, to Granblue Fantasy Relink. Well, last episode, after a little bit of quest completion and item management, we set out to complete our first Maniac quests, taking on a Slimepede and a Rumble in the Desert before obtaining another Avia log from Curios. We then cleared Armor is Best Served Cold and a Heated Rivalry, getting so close to completing Zeta's Offense Masteries. Now the question is, do I start unlocking new... Oh my god, these quests appear every time. This is amazing. Do I start unlocking new characters at this point? Go through their stories too? Well, that's an option we have. We'll just work on leveling myself up as much as possible. Give me that MSP, right. There's probably a quest back in Seed Hollow as well. Wouldn't surprise me.
Skyfarers, huh? Want your weapons tempered? I'll handle it. How about that?
One whole level.
Your weapons won't betray you.
Yeah, it turns out like both IDs and the captain's crit weapons are fish or food related, or both, because fish are food. Let's face that as a thing that's true. Yes, there is a quest, and it is exactly where I expected it to be. But one of them's fried, if you know what I mean. One of them is indeed fried. So what do you want for your quest this time? Astral Matter. I have them. Alright, so with that much stuff gained, it's finally time. Ultimate power! Oh, no fanfare for completing the whole tree? Come on. I guess this is what this is for. Over mastery costs 700 MSP. This one costs 1,000. Well, let's get my defenses maxed out first. And my other guys too. Another sigil slot is always good to get. Nice. 84% on defense. Now what's my power at? Oh, there's some stuff further up I haven't got. I started at 8,800 power and I'm about to pass 13k. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm actually surprised by how fast that's raising from me doing these quests.
Kid, you find
oh, I don't have curios. I thought I'd get them doing quests.
Need something?
Alright, we could unlock a new character and go with their Fate episodes, to be fair. To mix things up a little.
What you in the market for?
We have 9 crewmate cards and 10 crewmates to get. Shall I go with the people who I found interesting the most, like Ferry and... Oh, they come at level 60 now as well, so that's nice. And Vane. But their power will be nice and really low. You're like, what's going on? You get an MSP bonus for recruiting someone as well. Let's recruit Ferry.
Did you miss us, Captain?
Wits with ghostly friends. Do I want to practice with Ferry against Cerberol? No, because we'll be able to do that once we start the Fate episodes, correct? Thanks for the business indeed. You got a new trophy, Nameless Ghost, and you got a new trophy, Ectoplasmic.
Skyfarer, I can make any weapon you want.
Well, I'll make weapons indeed. Ferry's weapons. Let's make you this, the Flame-Lit Curl.
Please use it with care.
I'd level up this weapon, but I want to level it up.
It's a
Well,
great
yeah.
success.
I didn't have any materials to do that with.
Thanks for coming.
Right, Ferry is unlocked. Let's see how far this later unlocked character is on the gauge. 63%, 68%, and of course 0 for collection. The collection, I could just spend a couple to upgrade them right here, right now.
Wow, even Fuji and Miko are growing more powerful.
So that doesn't hurt me in any way, shape, or form. Whipped into shape. Well, let's take on Fate episodes to introduce ourselves to the character. We can go through the whole thing in one shuffle. So, a young woman who accidentally summoned Celeste, the primal beast of death, and became a ghost. She's a ghost? She's not... Okay. Though cursed by a primal beast to be forever bound to the misty island of her birth, she was released from that burden by Olizandri and the crew. She loves her sister more than anything, but was tragically separated from her. Let's hear about Ferry. If only I could see them again. I see dead people?
I'm from Tremont Island, a quiet little place where I lived with my parents and sister. Things were good, except my sister was suffering from a terrible condition. We couldn't treat her on Tremont, so she was forced to travel to another island, all on her own. Back then, skyfaring wasn't nearly the safe bet that it is today, so I wasn't sure if she'd even make it there, let alone receive treatment. I loved my sister more than anything, so waving bye to her as she took off toward an unknown future was the hardest thing I'd ever done. I hoped beyond all hope. I hoped till it hurt, that her cure would be swift, and she'd sail back to me with each setting sun. But the days, they grew into months. Sometime after she left, a brutal pandemic spread across Tremont, crippling our population in a matter of days. I was shocked, watching the good people I'd known all my life pass away. But I was horrified when it claimed my parents. And when it came for me, I knew death was waiting at the front door. What can I do? I thought, lungs heavy and weighing me to my bed. What could I do but turn to the skies and pray? Please, if you're listening, I want to hear my family. I want to hear their voices again. My pleas were answered, but not by salvation. No, it was Celeste, the primal beast of death, who descended from the heavens. She stole death from the suffering islanders, preventing them from slipping into the afterlife. They became zombies, sentient and rotting. Unlike the others, my corporeal form faded away, leaving my spirit to haunt the land. This, at least, gave me a faint hope. If I was given an unlife, then perhaps my mother and father would be given the same gift. But the months, they grew into years. And it became clear that though Celeste held dominion over death, life was a more complicated matter. It was my wish that had brought unlife to Tremont. I was to blame for turning my hometown into a living cemetery. If the villagers knew what I had done, well, that's why I chose to haunt the manor on the outskirts of town. Alone in those halls, with no one to talk to, I counted the days until I lost track of time. Solitude was better than guilt. Isolation was better than hearing my name used as a curse. But with time, the silence ate away at my name, until even I forgot who I was.
I didn't expect the character to be around that. Pandemics? Ghost? She's not even like, I'm guessing she has a physical form? Or is she just... She's not translucent enough to be a ghost. Episode 1, Lonely No More.
It's true that there weren't people around the manor, but I did discover a few ghost animals floating about. They took a liking to me, probably because of our shared ghosthood, and I gave them cute names to show my affection. Beppo, Gigi, Fuji, and Nicola. Before I knew it, my lonesome days became a little less gray, if not less repetitive. I watched so many tomorrows and yesterdays pass me by. I felt as stale and constant as the mists that covered the island. That all changed when the crew came to my manor. They were a cheerful, lively group, but also straightforward and intimidating. It had been so long since I needed to interact with other people. I knew that if I made contact, I would have to acknowledge the real depth of my loneliness. So I ran, and they gave chase. So I ran again, and they followed once more. No matter where I fled, they found me, undeterred by my spectral form or my ghostly pets. Finally, I decided to ask them about their situation. Thanks to the mists, they explained, their airship was grounded on Tremont. Like me, like the other islanders. We were all prisoners of Celeste. So long as she still had a pact with the island, there would be no refuge from her fog. But, by the same token, her powers preserved the unlives of Tremont's people, myself included. If Celeste was brought down, we would fade with her. It troubled me, but I knew it was a necessary course of action. I had only one thing to accomplish before confronting the primal beast of death. I needed to come clean to the islanders. It was time to make amends. Had it not been for the arrival of the captain and the crew, I would never have found the strength to make that decision. I marched straight to the village, took a deep breath, and explained to the people how I doomed everyone. But to my surprise, they looked upon me with sympathy and warmth.
I know she's out there. Tell us more of this tale.
With the understanding and support of the islanders, I called Celeste once again, but she didn't appear, and the mist still covered the island. That's how I learned the truth. It wasn't only me who had crossed Celeste's fate with our own. The other culprit was the doctor who was traveling through our village, back when the pandemic first appeared. He was secretly conducting research to summon Celeste. We hurried to the place where he resided, but when we arrived, we found that his consciousness had already been swallowed by the primal beast of death, and he couldn't cough up any helpful information. Despite the setback, I joined with the crew and the islanders to find and defeat Celeste. The mists parted, and the island returned to its former state. Its residents began to pass into the great beyond, disappearing into light. Before long, everyone I'd known had been lifted into the bright sky, leaving behind only their memories. I closed my eyes and waited for my final moments. But no matter how long I waited, I never began to fade. Left behind, yet again. I stared out at the village, devoid of residents. I was alone, but I could accept that. At any rate, the nameless ghost was no more, because a strange man gave me an oddly familiar name. So long as I had that name, and my memories with the crew, I could wait decades, maybe even centuries, for my sister to return. I think the captain, however, couldn't bear leaving me to such a hollow fate, and invited me to the crew. But how could I leave the island? I knew that my little sister would come back to me. Even though we were no more than graves and warm thoughts, this is where her family was laid to rest. If she came back and no one was waiting, wouldn't she be sad? That's why I knew I had to stay. But the captain wouldn't hear of it. If I was worried about my sister, I should go look for her. It was a new chance. I had never been off my island. I had never even considered the option. But I knew I could. I just needed to find the courage. And that's how I set out on a journey with the crew. Somewhere, out there in that big blue sky, my sister is waiting for me.
Still seem to be glossing over the whole ghost bit. To be totally fair. Embroidered with love.
One day, I was out shopping in Seed Hollow Central Plaza when I saw a woman with kind eyes sitting on a bench. She was absorbed in her needlepoint. Your embroidery is beautiful.
Oh, aren't you a dear? Thank you.
Her smile was genuine and cozy, just like the blanket she was working on. She told me it was a present for her beloved. I've never seen anyone so outside before. She giggled. Really? I'm hoping some of this cheerful sunlight works its way into the fiber. Her name was Malfira, and she invited me to have a seat beside her. Admittedly, the weather was beautiful, the kind that made you appreciate being alive. Or, well, unalive. There was a long, thin trail of white dividing the sky, the aftermath of an unfortunate cloud that had been pierced by a wayfaring airship. How fragile those clouds. How fragile our journeys. I glanced back at Malfira, who looked to be making diligent progress. A familiar memory crept to mind, of a time when I begged my mother to sew new stuffed animals for me and my sister. The nostalgia was comfortable, welcomed even, but I was brought back to the present when I heard a troubled sigh from beside me.
This leads to the precursor to a quest. Oh no, it is just the quest itself. Warm Threads. Our first taste of gameplay with Ferry. We'll figure out the skills when we're in there, but they get to start at 5,381 power, which should be more than enough. Plus teammates.
Is something wrong? Such a forlorn expression didn't match Malfira's cheerful disposition.
Oh, sorry to worry you. It's nothing I would bother a stranger over.
Malfira forced a grin and stretched the throw across her lap.
It's just, I had hoped to use warming thread on this little project.
What kind of thread? I didn't even know there were different types of thread. But according to Malfira, there was a type of insect native to Fondom whose silk was imbued with magic. Items made from this silk were said to retain a comfortable warmth all year round.
If only I could get to Fondom on my own. And then there's the matter of tracking the insect.
Her smile never quavered, but the way her eyebrows stitched together, ever so slightly, covertly signaled her true disappointment. I could do it for you! I know I look young, but I'm a veteran skyfarer! I put my hands on my hips and puffed out my chest, a posture I hoped would inspire confidence.
Oh, that's sweet. But it was just a silly thought. My fault for having unrealistic expectations, really.
From her tone alone, I could tell the pose did not, in fact, inspire confidence. Later, after a quick discussion with the captain, we decided to head to Fondom anyway. I needed Malfira to finish her blanket. I just didn't understand why yet. All pets on deck.
All pets on deck, eh? Ferry, a young Elune from an island shrouded in mist, passed away a long time ago and became a ghost. With her spirited pets by her side, she's a whip-wielding powerhouse. Take advantage of her whip's long reach and hold square to deliver a barrage of blows. One of her pets will be summoned on the last hit. It's interesting. Hold triangle to unleash a storm of blows over a wide area. If any pets are present on the battlefield, they'll hop in on the beatdown.
According to Sierra, the insect infested nest at the top of the local wildlife. There's a rumor a vicious monster also makes its home here. Stay on your toes.
It's an interesting upward swoop that you can do. Search for insect nests. I'm guessing that's what these are. Look, flame guys.
Fire spirits.
We better get them before they get up.
Watch this! Whittle you down. Earthquake! You're mine!
Slashing back.
Don't know if there were any insect nests down here. We got rid of the flame guys. Onslaught.
Don't get cute.
She's basically a tamer class then in certain respects, yeah?
It's so hot. I feel like my sweat is sweating. Why are we going through the trouble again?
Sorry. I just wanted to put a smile on Malfira's face. She looked so, I don't know, forlorn.
But it was your first time meeting her, wasn't it? Who's she to you?
I know it's a weird connection, but her name, it sounded like my sister's.
Doesn't sound that weird. No, I'm not having to be run away from this. I don't think I could reach that thing at all from here. Yeah, I'm just carrying it for no reason.
Looks like someone wants to fight. Let's teach them not to butt in.
And a downwards whip too.
More wyverns. Momo, you bring up the rear.
Lights out.
I think it's dead. It's just not going down properly.
It's all right, Nicola. I'll protect you from the mean monsters. Gigi, Bimbo! Down, boys! You can't play so close to the magma. What did you call it? Take the stage, Mooch! Nicola!
Well, there's my pets. What are they gonna do? They are just gonna like actually beat up people. I've got 3 pets. So basically you hold that down, you whip them for a bit, you get the pets, you fill a gauge, and then you spend. Simple, effective.
What's that?
Burn! Look out! It's a monster in disguise!
It's
You must be that vicious
Infernodile.
monster we heard about. If you thought you could get a leg up on us, you have another thing coming. Now, get wet!
Heads up, guys. What? Oiga's just like,
Another one at the bug.
bang.
Now we can find that bug in peace. Tell me, you learn your lesson?
I mean, it's a cool end screen.
Is this what you were looking for? I proudly displayed the hard-won thread to a surprised and overjoyed Malfira.
My word, you really are a skyfarer, aren't you?
She took the spool for a closer look.
Yes, this is the genuine article. I can't accept this for free. Let me see what money I have on me.
From her purse, she pulled a single, unfamiliar coin. I knew from its extravagant design that it wasn't in circulation anywhere near Seed Hollow, but it looked valuable all the same. I refused the gesture. Retrieving the thread was my decision. I wanted to see that blanket finished. A reward was never part of the equation. Malfira's grin bloomed into a full belly laugh. She told me I was a strange girl. Laughing with her, I replied that I had met stranger.
It's not a competition. Right, obviously there's more Fate episodes, but that chain quest over there will have popped up from us doing that last quest. So let's get the next part of that. Which then, of course, makes you want to go back to the other places to then give in more stuff. If this quest is here, then that means the other thing is Eternal Snowflakes. 700 mastery points. You know what? I may as well go and do it. Because it's all about, like, our future growth, isn't it? And if those quests are back, which they are, then that's another 1,400 mastery points. Cash too. Can't complain about the cash. And the only issue I do have is I'm wondering about where to farm these orbs, because this is definitely the way to grow. This is definitely the way to grow now. Hi, Soph, enjoy your sleep.
Come to view the requests?
Alright, let's get the next episode going. Episode 5, Protection from the Cold.
We made another pit stop in Seed Hollow, which gave me the chance to check up on Malfira and her progress with the blanket. Lyria and Vern came with me, and their eyes lit up when they saw her intricate embroidery, just like mine did that first sunny day. Though I hadn't known Malfira for very long, I felt a kinship with her, and I liked to watch her determination evolve with each new stitch. But most of all, I liked that her kind smile, maternal and comforting, was always able to put me at ease. I'd never met anyone so genuine. In fact, nor had my pets.
Who's a spooky boy? Yes, you are.
Malfira playfully scratched behind Beppo's ears. The mood was light, so I decided to learn a little more about my friend. I noticed you're in the Central Plaza quite often.
More or less. I don't have much else to occupy my time. Not with that silly boy still playing in the sand.
Malfira's partner was a geologist on dispatch in Dolly, an extended dispatch, it seemed. Dolly was an island of deserts, with bitterly cold nights. To Malfira, a cozy blanket seemed the perfect way to combat the harsh environment.
Maybe it won't be necessary. He's coming back for a visit on the Airbus next month, and I'm about to burst with excitement.
Her joy should have been infectious. Try as I might to put on a brave face, my heart sank at her words. The Airbus from Dolly? Of course.
What happened to the Airbus? Was it one that got shot down by the big Excavalion?
During the next month's visit, Malfira looked more downtrodden than I had ever seen. Vern expressed his distress before I could vocalize my own.
Holy spools, lady! You look like you've been up all night. You feeling okay?
Malfira meekly raised her head, barely affording him a grin.
My love, he didn't come back to me.
It took me a moment to find a response. I'm sure. I bet he'll find a way to return next month. She had already been waiting an eternity for him. What comfort were my words? And yet, she still found the strength to smile.
I hope so. I'm so tired of moping around like this. It's getting harder to stay positive, but I'll find a way for his sake. That man. You know, he's so absent-minded, he probably mixed up the date on his ticket.
Malfira unrolled the blanket across her lap, checking the backing of her stitching.
I've poured a lot of love into this design. I hope he likes it.
As she vacillated from melancholy to forced cheer and back again, I had to bite my lip for fear my thoughts would spill out.
Alright, episode 7, Forgetful Love.
One month passed, and still no word from Malfira's beloved.
I'm sure he has his reasons.
Lyria tried to comfort the young seamstress, but Malfira's smile was noticeably dimmer than before.
Yes, you're right. He's not one to take risks or push himself too far. There's nothing to worry about, I'm sure.
Her words sounded strained, like she was trying to convince herself. I thought I knew what was happening, but I couldn't bring myself to acknowledge it. Not yet. We were all stuck in awkward silence, so I changed the subject.
How did you two meet?
It was in this very plaza. He was a bookworm, so he came here to do his reading. I was out catching some sun myself when he found the courage to sit next to me. I turned to greet him and he shoved a book on embroidery in my face. Not the greatest first impression, huh?
Energy returned to her movements. Color returned to her smile.
So what did you do?
You're going to laugh. I told him I already owned the book. His face turned pale as a ghost, but it was cute, seeing him all vulnerable. So I asked his name, and the rest is history.
She shut her eyes, savoring the nostalgia. Then she sighed.
Guess I'll have to go to Dolly and drag him home myself, won't I?
No, not that. I couldn't let her go to Dolly alone. After witnessing her optimism return, I couldn't let her learn the truth.
She's gonna at some point. What is the truth? Searching for happiness. It's an explore mission.
No, you should stay here. We'll go for you. Dolly can be a dangerous place, and I'm sure your partner wouldn't want anything to happen to you. I hoped that logic would be enough.
Dolly? Dangerous? But so many people live there. But if a skyfaring crew is offering their services, who am I to deny professionals?
Vern scrunched his face in confusion.
Lots of people? What are you talking about? Dolly's basically a giant sand...
A quick nudge was enough to interrupt Vern. I hoped Malfira had missed the majority of his comment. You can trust us. We handle this kind of assignment all the time. We'll be back before you know it.
Okay, let's do it.
My air of confidence, false though it was, seemed to bring her welcome relief.
Could you take the blanket with you? I wanted to give it to him myself, but I know he's probably already spent weeks freezing at night, and it won't do me any good here.
She pushed a soft bundle into my hands. It was warm to the touch, thanks to the silk from Fondom, but it was also warm to the soul, thanks to the love and care that Malfira put into every stitch. Of course, it would be my pleasure.
Anyone else confused about the timeline here?
Everyone, to the fight!
Because this place got taken down quite a while ago.
According to Malfira's map, the excavation was near the central ruins.
You sure you want to trust that dusty old thing?
Point taken. But we can at least get a sense for the lay of the land. Now let's go. This place is crawling with monsters. Stay on your toes, everyone.
Take the stage, equal up!
Hurt to ass!
It's kind of like the not remembering about hearing about anything else happening. As long as you get one of these hits on.
Nice try!
What's that? I can grab the bunny? What can I grab? Oh, the ball. It was just behind me, but I couldn't really see it. Benediction sounds like a buff or a heal. Mainly a heal.
Clean this place up so we can start our search!
Beautiful.
Ghost attack.
What do you think?
Let's bring you in!
Purge spirits. Endel seems to be a point blank jump back.
Maybe we'll find something back at the western campsite. It's worth a look.
Sure thing. We hadn't heard anything about an excavation camp getting wrecked, had we?
Do these guys get paid to fight us or what?
Very good at hitting with that, am I?
I'm starting to get restless. Come on, let's hurry.
Your time's up
What do you think?
Of course, damage figures won't look that nice at the moment, will they?
This place feels right somehow.
I think I saw someone over there! Let's go!
He's just fine. Okay. Just with the gloom and doom. Sure, nothing spooky will go on.
Where'd that dude from before go?
I think I know.
Nothing spooky at all.
No, it can't be.
I'm afraid so. He's no longer with us, but we've at least found his resting place. That's some comfort.
What? No, that's impossible.
We all stood before a grave, created 15 years ago in the wake of a terrible calamity. Carved on the back were the names of the deceased. And there, in the middle of them all, was the name of Malfira's beloved. I wrapped the blanket around the stone, tying it securely so the harsh desert environs wouldn't steal it, like it stole the lives of these scholars. Maybe it would at least keep their memory warm. Malfira put her heart and soul into this blanket. Take care of it, okay?
That's why I thought the timeline didn't match up. It would have been quite a while ago, because it was a child. Very... Oh my god, that respawns these.
Mission complete.
These quests are the best quests ever, I love them. Even if they delay me from doing the next bit of the thing, the progress I can get from these. Right, back to the quest counter to continue on the Fate episodes.
Come to view the requests?
We have episode 9. Now she can rest. Now she can rest? Yeah, what's going on here?
When I returned to Seed Hollow, Malfira's voice was shaky.
Is he okay?
I couldn't face her as I struggled out a response. He's fine. He said the survey was taking longer than expected, that it's going to be a while before he can join you.
Oh, thank goodness. I was starting to fear the worst.
She was relieved. I was crushed. But how could I bring myself to tell her the truth? He said thanks for the blanket, that he'll never feel cold again.
Of course he won't. We made sure of that by retrieving the silk from Fondom.
Malfira's joy was contagious, but I still had to force myself to smile. I'm not sure if my act was convincing, but I knew, more than anything, that I didn't want to show her how sad I truly was. When her own grin softened, I knew my ruse had failed. If anything, my glaring lies had only cast a light on the truth she buried deep in her mind.
Oh, I can't thank you enough for delivering the blanket. I knew I couldn't rest until it was safely in his arms.
It clicked. Malfira knew what she was. She knew what I was. Hearing the sorrow evaporate entirely from her voice confirmed it. But now nothing bound her to the world, and she began to fade, like mist in the morning light. I watched, tears in my eyes, as the contours of her form blurred into abstraction.
Somewhere deep down, I knew I had died. It was the day he left for Dolly. I'm not sure what happened, but I just had to wait for him, hoping he would come sit next to me one more time. I've held on to that hope for what seems like an eternity.
Malfira, I'm sorry. I feel like I lied to you.
Oh, hush now. I bent the truth too, didn't I? I was glad for your company. Happy to have someone to chat with.
Malfira brought her hands to her chest and looked up to the infinite blue stretching above us.
Do you think he liked the blanket? Do you think he's warm now?
He was overjoyed. You found the best thread, stitched away in the sun, and poured your love into it. How could he not be? She smiled her last to me, more genuine and placid than ever before. Before we went to Dolly, I wanted to confirm my suspicions about Malfira. I checked with an airship engineer about Airbuses to the desert.
Dolly? No liner's been out that way for about 15 years now, on account of what happened and all.
He explained that the last ship to Dolly was filled with scholars and their families, leaving on a journey from which they'd never return. But 15 years. She'd been waiting 15 years to deliver her gift. I knew her isolation. I wouldn't let her wait any longer.
Ghosts everywhere. And our epilogue, Memory Among the Dunes.
Before I was ready to part ways with Malfira for good, I decided I needed to build a new grave for her and her beloved in Dolly. I realized that she had been right. With both sand and chill nipping at your skin, the desert nights really were cold and unfriendly. Wrapping the blanket around the new gravestone, I looked up at the full moon and saw 2 shooting stars falling through the night sky like tears down a cheek. And I knew, despite the chill, this was the perfect resting place. I turned to my pets. It's okay now. They'll never be apart again.
And there we go. We recruited Ferry and heard her spooky tale, getting a hand-drawn map and a new crewmate to go with it. So we will, of course, pick up new crewmates as we go.
All right, see you.
And view their stories too. Fate beholder, eh? Is Ferry the only new crew member since we beat Bahamut Duplicate? Versa, I know the name, don't worry. Hand-drawn map. A simple map of Dali Island drawn by Ferry. She has kindly placed a mark in the corner of a set of ruins. Here lies a small tomb in quiet peace. I guess we could get some trophies as well from whatever we've done. Small amount of stuff. But the Maniac quests are going quite well because my party's power is okay, and all of a sudden I've gained like 4,000 power today on Zeta, so
Got an order?
life's
should I
going
strengthen?
really good, I guess.
I'll handle it. How about that?
1, 2, 3. Can't buy the next thing yet. I'm just missing materials
Your
to upgrade
weapons
weapons.
betray ya.
You found the slime mission too? Well, I've done one time. I haven't done it more. To be honest, the other ones seem to be giving me more rewards. These seem to be giving me the most rewards.
Easier than eating apples.
This is getting me loads of MSP. I'm just like, yeah. I'll give you all of my materials. I don't care. Just give me MSP.
I smell a new.
That's how we do it.
Easier than eating apples.
That's how we make it work. I've just realized I've got my Elgato set to the wrong thing the whole time I've been doing this. No! It needs to be at 59.94, not at 60 for a PS5. Oh well.